Okay, so we're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog head down to the seat of the chair, and then into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, dog head up. So I'm just going to show you. We're going to extend back, and then we're going to walk forward slightly, swing forwards, taking the body through, keeping the toes tucked under, and then coming back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'm going to walk my feet back a little bit, and then stepping forwards and coming out. Okay, let's do that together. So have your chair so that it's against a wall. Again, it doesn't have to be a yoga chair, a dining chair, kitchen chair is fine. You may need to take your mat a little bit further out from the wall. You want to have at least the ball of the foot onto your mat. You don't want to have the feet off your mat in case you slide. So you press onto the seat of the chair, lift your frontal pelvic bones up, lift up your kneecaps, thigh muscles, move your abdomen towards your spine. Don't let your ribs drop, don't let your belly drop. Make sure that your feet are even, that you're not letting your heels swing out. It may be that working to the chair like this, you will be able to get your heels to the floor. Maybe not, that's fine, don't worry about it. But having the arms slightly higher does make that more accessible to more people. All right, so we're going to come up onto the toes, start to walk the feet a little bit further forwards. Keep the feet hip width apart, and we're going to swing the body through and come into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So keep the length of the tailbone, lift your thigh muscles, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back and down. And then we're going to come back again into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog head down. And now walk forwards to come out of the action. Well done. Roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to come now for this action where we're just going to rest the arms onto the thighs. Some of you will be able to come down a little further, and that's fine. Maybe you put your hands onto bricks if you need to. For some people, just resting like this will be sufficient. Let the abdomen move back to the spine. If you can take your hands down to the floor or to bricks, then you can do so, but don't get too hung up on that. We're just opening out the lower back in this action. Okay, and releasing. Chaturanga Dandasana. Now I've got a belt with me, and we're going to use that in a minute. Your belt loop needs to be so that your arms are shoulder width apart when you put the belt loop on above the elbow, but we're not using it to start with. What we are going to use is the wall. And you're going to lie prone to start with. And I want you to tuck your toes right under and have your heels to the wall. You can see that my feet are hip width apart and my hands are down by my chest. So you'll inhale and exhale and lift up the body in one movement. So I'm not lifting very much, as you can see. That's fine, but it might be that you don't lift at all, which is also fine, but you can still get all of the actions without lifting off the floor. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so take the hands back, tuck your toes under, press your heels into the wall, lift your thighs off the floor, drill your tailbone down, draw your shoulder blades towards your back waist, inhale through the nostrils, exhale and lift. Okay, and releasing down. Now just fold your arms in front, rest your head, and you can bend at the knees and just let the toes come towards one another like that. Okay. So we're going to give it another go, because it might have been that you made one of the two classic things that we see in class, which is either coming into it like that, which is incorrect, or like that, lifting the bottom up, which is also incorrect. Alright, so it doesn't matter, remember, that you don't get off the floor. What matters is that you've got this sense of direction. So from the tailbone to the heels is energy going in that direction, and from the base of the spine to the crown of the head, the energy is moving in that other direction. So you've got a two-way action. So extend into the heels, press your heels into the wall, lift your thighs off the floor, move your elbows in, make sure your arms are far enough back. You cannot get this if your hands are by your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, and lift. And releasing. Okay, well done. Just rest down for a moment. So, you'll put your belt on. Let me just show you first, and then we can do this together. You put your belt on just above the elbows. You come into dog head down, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now when we come into this action of Chaturanga, you have to lift your chest up and over that belt, and then bend at the elbows to come into your Chaturanga. So that's actually a little bit tight there. Alright, and then you can just rest back onto your heels. So I need that a little bit looser, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to make that like that. So you can see more or less the distance that I've got that on my arms, and it's probably best if you move the buckle quite close to one of your arms, because you don't really want that digging into your chest as you come forwards. And obviously, you know, if you've got a big chest, you've got to move it over that belt. It's a little trickier, but it can work well for some people. So we have to try different methods when poses like this are a bit challenging. A lot of people find this a very difficult pose to do. Alright, coming up into Adho Mukha Svanasana to start with. Abdomen towards the spine, frontal pelvic bones lifted, hit out to that belt. If it's becoming loose, you know you need to move your upper arms into it. Now look forwards, pressing down into your hands, start to shift forwards. If it's difficult coming into the full action, keep the arms straight, that's absolutely fine. Let the pelvis start to come down, lift your chest over that belt, up and over, and then bend your elbows straight back, hit your heels back, breathe. Okay, and then just bring the knees to the floor and shifting back. Well done. Okay, hard pose to do, Chaturanga Dandasana. Then you're going to need 4 foam pads to come into Seqeunces. So I'll just demonstrate this. You can use either 4 foam pads, or if you've got them, 1 or 2 bricks. So I'm just going to show you how you would do it with the bricks. You roll the shoulders under and place these bricks. You can see which way I've got them. Here, you could use just 1 brick, that's fine. And you roll the shoulders under. These bricks do need to be stable. In other words, not sort of tipped onto one side or another. Now I happen to have got the correct distance because my feet are now firmly onto the wall, heels onto the wall, feet in line with the pelvis, and I'm rolling the shoulders under and extending into my feet. But this is quite an unforgiving support because you can't vary it. Whereas the foam pads are broader, they're nicer on the lower back, so anybody who's got any back discomfort, this is a much more preferable option for you. Also, you are able to just put in 2 foam pads. If that's where you are, you'd have to come further away from the wall with just 2 foam pads. Now, if you're too close to the wall, once you've got your maximum number of foam pads in, then that is fine, because you can move away quite easily. So I'm too close here, I can put my feet down, wriggle back slightly, and come out a little. If you're too far away, you know, you can wriggle back in, but sometimes it's just better to start again. So once you're in position, you hold on to the outer edge of your mat and you roll your shoulders under. So you start out with your legs bent, a little way away from the wall, and then wriggle your shoulders under and either put the two bricks in underneath your sacrum, it should feel comfortable, or you start building up your foam pads. Now make sure that your foam pads are straight, so you have to stack them up neatly, otherwise it gets a little bit precarious. And it's not obligatory to have 4 in. You can work with 2, you can work with 3. If your back hurts, take a foam pad out. Once you've got up to the number that you're intending to use, place your feet to the wall. If you're too close in, just wriggle back. If you're too far out and your heels do not touch the wall comfortably, then you may need to pull yourself in, wriggle your shoulders under until you get yourself into the correct position. Then hold on to the outer edge of the mat, roll the shoulders under, stretch into your heels, roll the very tops of your thighs inwards. Now those who have a little back discomfort, but not so much that you need to come down a foam pad, then take your heels apart from one another and turn your toes slightly in. It gives a little bit of space in the sacral region. And enjoy. Hopefully you will feel comfortable in this. So lift the breastbone towards the ceiling. Lift the back ribs into the body. Keep the back of the neck long, sides of the neck soft. Okay, so coming out of the pose now, place your feet onto the floor, lift your pelvis up slightly and start to take your foam pads out, or if you're using the bricks, turn them first to the second side, then to the first side, each time letting the pelvis release down onto a slightly lower support so that you don't shock your back into coming down to the floor. You just gently give it that awareness. And then once you're down onto the floor, just rest there for a moment, bring your knees together and turn your toes in a little. So work with the legs bent. So hopefully you'll be able to see. This is something that always causes confusion in class. When we put the belt on for this, what you do is you put it over the fronts of your ankles and you just hold it like that. So you've basically made 2 little anklets. So don't wrap the belt around and don't use the loop on the belt, that's irrelevant. You're just placing it here across the fronts of the ankles and then holding on to the back, so you've got 2 little loops on your ankles. So I'm just going to show now. So you place your belt, you make your little loops, you put your feet onto the foam pads, you lift up, roll the shoulders under and lift the chest. and breathe. Okay, so let's give that a go. So have your foam pads to the wall, place your belt over the fronts of the ankles, hold on to your belt so you've got two nice loops around your ankles. Bring your toes up the wall slightly, wriggle onto the tops of your shoulders, tops of your arms, wriggle in. Now we have to lift the pelvis up. Push your shins away from the wall and lift again. Wriggle the shoulders under, push your shins away from the wall and lift again. And now releasing down, wriggle away from the wall slightly, bring your knees into your chest, just rock a little from side to side, and then we'll go once more. Place the belt, hold on to it. Now this time you may be able to hold on to the fronts of the ankles. All right, so we're starting with the belt. I'll just show. We'll start with the belt, see if we can wriggle in. And then some of you may be able to catch the fronts of the ankles and get this lift in this way. So place your belt, make your loops, place your feet, lift your pelvis, roll onto the tops of the shoulders. Those who can grasp the fronts of the ankles, then you do so. And then lift up. So roll your thighs in towards one another. Press the head of the shin away from the wall. Come more onto the tops of your shoulders. Breathe. And then releasing down and bringing the knees into the chest and just rocking a little. Okay. And then rolling to your right. Bharavajasana twist. Now I'm just going to show you how this is going to work. So we're using the wall here. So those who find it difficult working onto the floor can work in a Bharavajasana chair to have a look at the inset. So we're going to take our hands to the wall in this Bharavajasana twist, and then we're going to see, can we catch hold of the arm? Now if that's difficult, you can put a loop on your left arm so that you can catch hold of that loop in that way, and it just moves these back ribs in. Okay, so sit on your two foam pads, have the wall to the right of you, swing your legs to the left, right foot horizontal, left foot vertical, sitting on top of the right foot. Have those foam pads just underneath your right sitting bone so that the left sitting bone drops into the space. Lift your chest, inhale, and turn to the wall. Relax. Now we're going to place the left hand onto the outer right thigh. And you're just going to see if you can swing your right hand around. You can let go of the left thigh if you like, and then re-catch it. Now, for some people that's going to be very tough to catch. So if that's the case, you put your belt on around your left upper arm and you hold onto that belt and work in that way. Okay, releasing, and we're going to go to the other side now. So swinging the legs to the right. And again, have the right sitting bone dropping down into the space. Lift your chest, turn to the wall. Breathe. Now, if you're able to catch hold of the arm, then you catch hold of the arm in this way. So it's the right hand goes to the outside of the left thigh. If you're not able to do that, then you place this belt around the top of the right arm, hold on. You take your left hand around your back ribs, grab hold of your belt or your upper arm and take this right hand to the outside of the left thigh. All right, and releasing. Well done. We're coming into a chair Shavasana now. I'm just going to show you how this is going to work. Working in this way just helps to release the lower back after the actions we've been doing today. So you can see that I've got a foam pad there. The blanket that I'm using is just coming underneath my head and my neck, and I'm placing the foam pad. Some people find that the foam pad there is really comfortable and helps to open out the lower back. Other people find it less helpful. It's dependent on not just you, but also your chair height and your leg length, all of those sorts of things. So experiment with it, see, does it feel nicer with a foam pad underneath the back of the pelvis or with the pelvis onto the floor? Try it with your legs straightened out onto the floor and with the legs lifted in that way. So get yourself into position for your Shavasana corpse pose in order to just relax the body after the sequence.